USF area. The news that puts students on high alert. You can see this message from campus police posted on the USF website telling students to avoid the area between Fletcher and Skipper and 42nd and 46th Streets. We've had two crews in that area overnight. Let's get right to our Laura Harris with some new information just in.
Well, Dan, we're at the Cambridge Woods Apartments right now. That's just off 42nd Street, just about a mile and a half away from USF. And I can tell you this investigation is still ongoing. Just moments ago, I saw a detective walk right into that unit right there, 14241, hearing of two home invasions, armed home invasions from overnight. And I actually saw two guys sitting outside that apartment. They tell me they do live there, but they couldn't give me any more information. I want to go ahead and get to some video, though, show you exactly what we're talking about, because here's the deal. This started well earlier this morning. We're talking about right before midnight. The video you're seeing right now is in the area of Tampa Palms off of Bruce B. Downs at Amberley Drive. Apparently someone was detained there, questioned as they got out of a cab. Very bizarre details coming out right now. We're still trying to get all of that information confirmed at this time. Our photographer was there when all of that was happening, but we still don't know if that had anything to do with what's going on right here. Like I said, very active inside there. I know it's kind of looking like many of those sheriff's cars are now gone, but as I said, there's still plenty going on inside of that unit at this time. If anyone's been arrested in connection with these two robberies, we still don't know at this time, and we still don't know where the other location was. We're still trying to get that information. A detective is supposed to meet me here at this location in the next 10 minutes, so hopefully we'll have some more information for you, bring it to you as soon as we get it. For now, we're live in Tampa. Laura Harris, ABC Action News.
Good morning, everybody. 30 breaking news that a series of armed home invasions, much more violent than first reported.
We now know that shots were fired and several women were also sexually battered. Our Laura Harris is live now to bring us these new details. Good morning, Laura.
Dan, I mean, this story has just blown up in just the past 20 minutes. I can tell you we're right now at Cambridge Woods Apartments. That's right off of 42nd Street. We're just about a mile and a half away from the USF campus. Earlier this morning, we were just hearing basically there was someone on the loose, two armed home invasions. Now we're hearing at this apartment right behind me that's still being investigated by detectives who are still inside with flashlights, still trying to figure out what happened. There were apparently 4 men inside that apartment, 2 women. Those 4 men were bound and duct taped by this suspect who was armed. And then at some point, 2 women were sexually assaulted. Okay, so then he leaves this place. He goes across the street to the Oaks Apartments, where there was a party with some 25 people there. He pushed all of those people into a bedroom, wielding a gun. At some point, he fired off shots into the carpet, and then he fled that scene as well. All of this new information just coming in right now. I've been told by Detective Larry McKinnon that he'll be out here in just about 15 minutes to give us a little bit more information. But this man is still on the run. I just spoke with a detective right out here on scene. He tells me they have not arrested anybody at this time. I want to get to some video, though, and show you what we saw earlier this morning. This was around 3 o'clock. Apparently, Hillsborough County deputies, as well as Tampa police, they've been trying to find this person. They've been stopping cabs, things like that, to see if anybody looks suspicious. Well, that's what they were doing this morning. That's the video you're looking at right now. But apparently, they did not arrest anybody with all of those stops. So back out here live, we're just waiting to get some more information, as I said, from Detective Larry McKinnon. But there are detectives inside that apartment where those sexual assaults apparently occurred, where those 4 men were bound and duct taped. Very scary situation around this area right now. As soon as we get some more information, of course, we will bring it to you as we always do. I'm also updating my Twitter feed as well as abcactionnews.com. For now, we're live in Tampa. Laura Harris, ABC Action News.
This breaking news update now at noon. The explosion, the firefight, and now the aftermath still unfolding at the scene of a propane blast in Tavares. Breaking right now, that area back under a voluntary evacuation order because of a leaking propane tank. The Blue Rhino propane plant is in Tavares, about 30 miles northwest of Orlando in Lake County. This is where they refurbish and refill thousands of barbecue grill propane tanks. Our Laura Harris has been at what emergency responders now are calling Ground Zero all morning and joins us live with the very latest.
Well, first things first, Dan, I want to let all of our viewers know we are the only Tampa station giving you this kind of vantage point. The closest ones here, as you can see, that plant right behind me. And I want to go ahead and step out of your picture so you can see this. In the last 20 minutes, we've heard that emergency sprinkler you see spraying over those 33,000-pound propane tanks is doing so because one of them is now leaking.
The news coverage
This amateur video captured the sights and sounds of the massive explosions at the Blue Rhino plant just before 11 o'clock on Monday night. People in nearby neighborhoods forced to evacuate for hours, describing what they experienced just minutes after the fireball lit up the night sky.
Complete panic mode. They were very frantic. Didn't know what to do but just leave.
Daylight revealing what the night kept covered. Thousands of these 20-gallon propane tanks in giant piles, some charred beyond recognition, some blown to pieces. A tractor-trailer rig barely recognizable. Cars in the parking lot of the building melted by the intense heat from those flames. Flames firefighters were still battling nearly 7 hours after that blast. As for what caused the initial explosion, Tavares Fire Chief Richard Keith says it could have been mechanical or human error.
They were doing their job, 24 employees on the site. Thank goodness, as far as we know, there were some serious injuries, but it could have been a lot worse.
A lot worse indeed. These 33,000-pound propane tanks were miraculously unaffected by the blast. Officials on scene telling us ignition from one of those would have been devastating. In the midst of this investigation, there have been questions about safety protocol and emergency procedures in place for employees at the plant.
We've trained with them. Our department's works with them on a regular basis. They have a very safe operation, so whatever happened, and this is the outcome.
And thousands of those little propane tanks, those 20-pound propane tanks, pieces just blown and marred everywhere around us. I mean, the building that is right in front of me has pieces of those propane tanks sticking in the roof right now. Even a fourth of a mile down the road, you could still see those. And then right next to my feet right here, another one of those charred propane tanks. And they've been using these little orange flags to mark everywhere they find them. They've been finding them all over this morning. We will continue to follow this story for you on abcactionnews.com as well as throughout the evening at 5, 6, and 11 and bring you the very latest. For now, we are live in Tavares. Laura Harris, ABC Action News.
And as Laura mentioned, you can get continuing coverage of this. Laura Harris right now is in our newsroom with more on this project, which obviously has seen a lot of opposition. Laura?
That's for sure, Dan. The Stop the Lens group is basically asking the city to either cancel the current contract to build the lens or allow the people of St. Pete to vote during the primary at the end of August. We saw that opposition in full effect yesterday as the group put on a show of force, presenting thousands of signed petitions to St. Pete City Council. Now, some calling the lens a sidewalk to nowhere. More than 20,500 signatures from people in the area proving they want a referendum on the lens project, claiming there has already been enough money pumped into a project they say the majority of people in the area simply don't want.
More than 2/3 of the people still don't want the lens in a poll recently taken 2 weeks ago by St. Pete polls. After the city has spent a year promoting it, including a nice brochure in everybody's water bill. The city council needs to listen to the voters and be fiscally responsible.
And all of this while the closing date for the pier looms. That's scheduled for the end of the month. But not everyone is signing their name to those petitions. In fact, we found a man who says the lens project would not only help the city of St. Pete, but will help businesses as a whole in that area. I'm working on that, and I'll have it for you at 6 o'clock. Live in the newsroom, Laura Harris, ABC Action News.
5:05.
Last time. It's got to be sad out there for those folks, Laura.
Dan, you know, I just moved here like maybe 10 months ago, so unfortunately this is my first and last time being up here on the pier, but I want to show you behind me plenty of people taking advantage. Even though they know the close of the pier is looming, people took the time today to enjoy it for one last time.
It's like losing a friend because this has been our heritage since we've been here.
30-year St. Pete resident Paula Prime got to the pier even before the doors opened this morning. She, like many, taking the time to capture this moment as the future of the inverted pyramid is clear. By this fall, demolition of the 40-year-old structure will begin, but not without plenty of questions.
I don't know. I'm not an architect, but I would think that it could be revamped a little.
But according to St. Pete city officials, renovation is just not an option.
You'd have to raise the lower level by about 4 feet or so, bring all the windows and everything up to current codes and current standards. It's really just not cost effective.
Tentatively going in its place, the lens, seen here in a 3D rendering, met with much opposition since it was introduced to the public, still evident by the signs left at the pier for the last day.
I anticipate that any new project is going to get universal acceptance. The resulting project, the lens, is amazing, where you can do everything that you can do here other than walk through a mall-like area in the center.
But visitors like Paula, who have watched many sunrises here at the pier, understand today is the day the sun will finally set on the place that holds many of their memories.
Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. You can't stop progress, even though you might not be happy with it.
You know, we're in the Columbia restaurant right now, which is on the 4th floor. We just came from the 5th floor, and they tell us they've got record number of reservations today, trying to make sure that everybody that wants the chance to come to the Columbia has that chance. Now, the pier will close tonight at 11 o'clock, and they tell us here at the Columbia they have plenty of space, and they want people to come on down. For now, we are live at the St. Pete Pier. Laura Harris, ABC Action News.
Thank you, Laura. Right day. Our Laura Harris has been in Hernando County all morning surveying the conditions. She joins us now with a look at how bad it is out there. Good afternoon, Laura.
Hi there, dear. You know, we're about, I'd say just maybe a mile south of Cortez Boulevard right now. We've been going around all morning trying to figure out if there really was any flooding, and then we came out here to this. These folks have been nice enough to give us a ride on their truck, and as you can see, their kids are right in front of us there on that boat. It's really the only way you can get up and down this road, as people here are dealing with this water and worried about more later today. Using a boat is the best way up and down Quarter Horse Lane today.
Is it just too deep? Yeah.
Most cars and trucks we saw drive up to the flooded mess just turned around. We were given a ride in a Super Duty truck to survey the damage. Even it was nearly swallowed by the standing water. Yesterday's rains have left the families on the street stranded, left to do what they can to not only deal with this water, but prepare for the rain expected later today.
You know, move the animals, move the farm equipment, and tried to get anybody out of the high water that was surrounding their homes.
Sandra Bolzak owns the first house on the street. She says she hasn't seen flooding like this since Tropical Storm Debbie last year. The ranch is nearly 200 acres, and in some spots,
I will.
under 3 to 4 feet of water. Some of the Bolzak's neighbors were forced to bring their horses to their home, away from the flooded stables down the road. Bolzak says now that she knows all of her neighbors are safe, she wants to make sure the animals are too.
Oh gosh, I got 3 of my neighbors' horses here now in the front yard on the higher ground, and there's about a dozen up there at the other end, and then we have a pack of cows back there.
And I want you to take a look at the middle of your screen right now. I know it's kind of hard to tell, but that's about a 5-foot alligator. That's another thing these people out here are worried about. They say alligators and snakes came through here during this flooding during Debbie, and now they're worried about the exact same thing today. But they tell us they're going to brave the storm. But if you don't want to do that, you can definitely go to one of the shelters that's been set up in Hernando County. There are also sandbags available over at the Brooksville Fire Department. For more information on all that, you can go to our website at abcactionnews.com. For now, we are live in Hernando County. Laura Harris, ABC Action News.